In the 22nd minute of the first match of the 2026 World Cup, the referee blew the whistle. Not for a foul, not for an injury. For a commercial break, Fox Sports cut to advertisements. The ball was still warm from the last touch, and when Fox came back 3 minutes later, the game had already restarted. They missed live play at the World Cup because of an ad for a pickup truck. This is Alex, and we need to talk about what FIFA just did to football, because this was not an accident. This was not Fox making a mistake. This was the plan. This was always the plan. And once you understand how this happened, you will never watch a hydration break the same way again. Let's start with why football never had commercial breaks in the first place. Because there is a reason. It is not an accident. It is not an oversight. It is the design of the sport. And it matters more than most people realize. Football runs? That is the fundamental thing about it. 2 halves of 45 minutes, a whistle to start, a whistle to end. And in between those whistles, the clock does not stop. Players get injured, and the game continues. The ball goes out of bounds, and within seconds, it comes back in. The goalkeeper takes a goal kick, and within a minute, the ball is at the other end of the pitch. Everything flows into everything else. The tension builds continuously, without interruption, without reset. This is not a coincidence. The people who codified the rules of association football in 1863 understood something about how drama works. Drama requires continuity. The moment you interrupt the flow, you break the spell. The crowd that was holding its breath exhales. The player who was about to make a run stops. The momentum that had been building for 12 minutes evaporates in the time it takes to show someone a car advertisement. For 160 years, football protected that flow. Rain or shine, hot or cold, 45 minutes uninterrupted. That was the deal. That was what football was, and it produced some of the greatest sporting moments in human history precisely because nothing could stop them. Goals scored in the 89th minute, last-second saves, movements that lasted 30 passes and covered the entire length of the pitch without a single pause. You cannot manufacture those moments. You can only create the conditions for them. And the condition football created was simple. The game does not stop. Until now. To understand what FIFA just did, you need to understand what American sports television actually is. Because it is not what most football fans around the world think it is. In the United States, the major sports, the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, were not just designed to be entertaining. They were designed over decades to be television products. Products that could be packaged, scheduled, and sold to advertisers in predictable units. The NFL is the clearest example. An average NFL game lasts approximately 3 hours and 12 minutes. The ball is actually in play for approximately 11 minutes of that time. The other 3 hours and 1 minute is replays, commentary, timeouts, injury reviews, challenges, and most importantly, commercial breaks. The NFL averages around 20 commercial breaks per game and over 100 individual advertisements per broadcast. This is not a flaw. This is the business model. The timeouts and the stoppages and the reviews exist, in part, because they create inventory. They create moments where the broadcast can cut away from the field and show you something you might buy. And this model generates enormous amounts of money. The NFL's most recent television deals are worth approximately $10 billion per year. The NBA operates the same way. 4 quarters, each one interruptible. Timeouts that can be called by coaches specifically to stop the clock and allow the broadcast to go to commercial. The game is structured around the advertisement. Baseball built its rhythm around it. 3 outs, change sides, 2 minutes of commercials. 3 outs, change sides, 2 minutes of commercials. 17 times per game, minimum. American sports fans are so accustomed to this structure that many of them find continuous play disorienting. Alex has heard American viewers of football matches complain that nothing happens. What they often mean, without realizing it, is that there is no break. There is no moment where the tension releases, where you can get a drink, where the broadcast tells you what to think about what you just saw. The game just keeps going, and you have to keep paying attention. For much of the world, this is a feature. For American television, it has historically been a problem. So now let's talk about what FIFA actually did. And let's be honest about it, because the official explanation deserves some scrutiny. In December 2025, FIFA announced that all matches at the 2026 World Cup would include a mandatory 3-minute hydration break in each half. The break would occur at the 22nd minute mark regardless of weather conditions, temperature, or whether the stadium had air conditioning. Seattle in June. Domed stadium. Climate-controlled, hydration break at the 22nd minute anyway. The stated reason was player welfare. The 2026 World Cup is being held during summer in North America. Several stadiums are in cities with significant heat and humidity. Players can be genuinely affected by extreme heat, and there is a legitimate case for managed hydration in those conditions. Alex does not dispute that player welfare matters. What Alex disputes is the claim that player welfare is why these breaks are happening in every single match, regardless of conditions. Because here is the detail that FIFA mentioned quietly, almost as an aside, when they announced the hydration breaks. The announcement was first made at the World Broadcaster meeting in Washington, D.C., not at a player welfare conference, not in a medical bulletin, at a meeting with the people who paid billions of dollars for the rights to broadcast the World Cup. And at that meeting, FIFA confirmed that broadcasters would be permitted to air commercials during the hydration breaks. One sports analyst described the hydration break as conveniently creating additional advertising inventory. A former football administrator speaking to a British newspaper said it more directly. He said that the timing of the announcement, the location of the announcement, and the structure of the break, fixed duration, fixed timing, mandatory in all matches, looked less like a medical protocol and more like a broadcast schedule. The Telemundo commentator covering the opening match said it on live television. "We prefer the old school way. We should be able to see what is happening." Fox Sports did not prefer the old school way. Fox cut to commercials in the 22nd minute of the first match of the entire tournament, returned from commercials after the restart, missed live play, and did it again in the second half. FIFA's own rules stated that broadcasters must return to the feed 30 seconds before play resumes. Fox missed that window. The ball was in play. Fox was showing an advertisement. This is the opening match of the World Cup, and the American broadcaster missed live action because they were showing commercials during a hydration break that was announced at a meeting with broadcasters. Alex is going to let you draw your own conclusions about what that sequence of events means. Here is what Alex actually thinks, and Alex wants to be fair about this because there are two sides. The first side is the money side. FIFA needs the American market. The 2026 World Cup is being held in the United States, and converting American sports fans into football viewers is the single biggest commercial opportunity in the history of the sport. American television rights are worth more than almost anywhere else on Earth, and American television does not work without commercial breaks. If you want American broadcasters to pay $10 billion for your tournament, you have to give them something to sell. That is the reality. The second side is the football side, and the football side says that what makes this sport different, what makes it matter, is exactly the thing you are breaking: the continuous play, the uninterrupted flow. The moment in the 89th minute where everything is on the line, and nothing stops, and nobody cuts to an advertisement for a pickup truck because the game simply does not allow it. Those two sides are genuinely in conflict. You cannot fully have both. And FIFA, in December 2025, chose a side. They chose the money side, and they dressed it in the language of player welfare. Alex understands why. Alex does not think it is the right call. And Alex thinks most football fans around the world, including the ones who were in that stadium in Mexico City watching a 3-minute break interrupt the biggest match of the year, feel exactly the same way. The question is whether it stays, whether the hydration break becomes a permanent feature of football, whether the four-quarter format, which is what this effectively is, becomes normalized, whether 10 years from now the children watching their first World Cup will grow up thinking that a drinks break at the 22nd minute is just how football works, or whether football pushes back, whether the players, the fans, the clubs, the federations that are not FIFA say clearly that this is not what the sport is. The Telemundo commentator said it. Some things you cannot say more plainly than that. Alex hopes football remembers what it is. From the couch. As always. Drop your take in the comments. Is the hydration break about player welfare or about advertising revenue? Alex already knows where he stands.